Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's What's Up Wednesday. My name is Rachel, and I'm on the client support team here at ELV. And today I'm joined by Isabel Dickson from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Welcome, Isabel. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So last week we did have some technical difficulties going live on Facebook and YouTube. So it looks like we are live on both right now. So let us know in the chat if you're watching. We are live, so please feel free to interact with us and ask questions as we're talking. I'll keep an eye out. I've got the video open on my phone and here on my computer screen so I can watch out for all your questions. So thank you. Thank you if you are watching live with us today. If you have not heard of Early Learning Ventures before, we are a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Colorado. And our mission is to expand access to quality and affordable childcare. So just one of the ways that we focus our efforts on improving the quality of early childcare programs is by providing these resources and sharing knowledge through these weekly What's Up Wednesday videos. So we are live every Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube at 1:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I bring in somebody new each week who can share knowledge and resources that maybe you or the families that you work with or someone on your team might benefit from. So like I said, please ask questions, interact with us in the chat. Feel free to say hi if you're watching live, and share these videos out with your friends and your colleagues to help spread the word. All right, so let's get started. Isabel, why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your role with CDPHE?
Sure, happy to. I'm Isabel Dickson. I'm the Economic Mobility Program Manager at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, or CDPHE, as we say. I'm part of the Maternal and Child Health Program at the State Health Department, and my program is focused on supporting the financial well-being of families and individuals because of the impact of financial well-being on mental and physical health outcomes.
Thank you. And then do you want to kind of just give us a little overview on what we'll be going over today, what we'll be sharing today?
Sure. So it's tax time. That might give some of us a sense of dread and others of us a sense of excitement. And I'm in both camps, I guess you could say. I get excited about tax time because it can deliver cash benefits to many families who don't realize that they're eligible for those credits. And so we're here today to talk about supporting the health and well-being of families and individuals through tax referral, and how you can actually do that pretty simply and quickly without knowing anything about the tax code. So we're just going to cover a little bit today about what's new for the 2024 tax season, what the most important credits are to know about, and how to quickly connect people to next steps. And so if you support families in your work directly with people, learning the importance of getting the word out about taxes, why they matter, and helping people who can most benefit get this information. Because we know that the cost of living has really been going up. Certainly the case here in Colorado, it's getting really expensive. People are sometimes struggling to make ends meet. And so we just want to do everything we can to support that financial well-being of families so that they can make their dreams come true.
Yeah, definitely. I think we are all feeling that right now. I'm in Arizona, but I think everybody that we meet with, and just even in personal lives, we're all talking about that. It is tough times, and I know taxes can be intimidating. This is definitely a hot topic, but yeah, any knowledge and resources that we can help get out there for you guys, I think is great. So let's first talk about some federal tax credits, because we do work with programs right now in 18 different states, and maybe the families that they work with or someone on their team might be in a different state. So let's kind of start there, maybe with the child care tax credit.
Yeah, and I'll just level set a little bit about tax credits and what they are. Tax credits are reductions in taxes owed based on different life circumstances, like having kids or having a job or being in school. If the credits are refundable, it means that you can get that money back as a check or a direct deposit if you don't owe more than the credit. So that those refundable credits can mean money back to you. And there are really some impactful federal tax credits this year that can make a real difference for people. And I can start with a few of those if that's good.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Well, kind of the granddaddy, the one that many people have heard of and has been a really powerful anti-poverty force for a long time is called the Earned Income Tax Credit. And the federal Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC, was raised this year to $7,430 as a maximum, and that's for filers with children. And Colorado also has a state tax credit, EITC, that I can talk about a little bit more in a moment. The child tax credit, there was an expanded CTC in 2021 that has ended and gone back to $2,000 per child. Up to $1,600 of that can be refundable. So after that expanded federal child tax credit ended, it went back down. You may have heard that Congress is currently considering again another expanded CTC that would be another powerful anti-poverty force. It would lift about 500,000 children out of poverty if it were enacted over about 3 years. That's a bipartisan expansion. It's not in effect yet. It has to be voted on still by the Senate, but we are watching that very closely because it would support a lot of people.
Yeah, that's huge. Thank you. And then, so what about some Colorado specific tax credits and resources? Maybe can you tell us about the Tabor refund?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And first, just to note that 31 states and the District of Columbia offer a state earned income tax credit along with the federal child tax or earned income tax credit. And many of those are refundable. And then 15 states also offer their own state child tax credit to go along with the federal child tax credit. So all of these can really add up. Yes, here in Colorado, we have a 1 year only 50% state match of the federal EITC. So for a low income family of 4, that can add up to almost $10,000, the federal and the state together. We do have a state child tax credit in Colorado that's between $200 and $1,200. And then, yes, you mentioned the Tabor refund. That is sort of a special situation to Colorado, but basically it's a refund on the state income tax, taxes paid already. In Colorado, we get a lot of questions about this, but basically Colorado residents can claim $800 per person for that rebate. And it can be claimed using a tax ID number or a social security number. People really need to file their state tax return by April 15th in Colorado to get that Tabor rebate. Some people can wait till October, but it's a little complicated who can wait and who can't. So it's really safest to file by April 15th to get that $800 per resident. You have to have lived in Colorado for all of 2023, and you have to have been at least 18 years old for all of 2023 to get that $800. If you file jointly, it would be $1,600 for your household.
Great, thank you. Going back to what you said first before the Tabor rebate, you mentioned other states. Was it the earned income tax credit? Every state has that? Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there a resource where someone can go to find out if that's in their state?
Yes, your Department of Revenue for your state will be able to speak to individual tax credits for each state.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then what about for someone who doesn't have a social security number for tax filing?
Yeah, sure. That is a little bit of a complicated situation, but you can use something called an individual tax ID number, or we say ITIN number, ITIN. What that is a tax processing number issued by the IRS. It's for people who don't have a social security number or are not eligible to get one. And there are tax credits and rebates, some tax credits and rebates that people who use an ITIN can get. One example is the child tax credit. To claim that, the parent does not have to have a social security number. They can use an ITIN number, but their child must have a social security number. Getting an ITIN number, you do that through the IRS, and it's essentially filling out a special form called the W-7 available at the IRS website. and you attach the required documents, like your identification documents, and either bring them in person or mail them to an IRS tax office. It has to be with a completed federal tax return. So that's the rough overview of how to get an ITIN. There's more information at, I can maybe chat these in, usa.gov/ITIN or irs.gov. And
yeah, is that one of the, okay, I see it here. I'll paste that into the chat.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that you sent over to me. I got that.
And you can do that with an appointment at an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center, or you can mail the documents. And some people don't feel comfortable, for understandable reasons, mailing their passport somewhere, so they prefer to go to an IRS office to apply for that ITIN. It can take a while. It can take up to 11 weeks to get an ITIN number. So if you're working with families, it's good to keep that in mind so that their expectations are reasonable around that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. All right. And then can you, do you have any resources that you can share for free or low cost tax filing? And maybe are any of these resources available in other languages?
Yes, I do. So there are a lot of resources out there to get started for free tax filing. There are some free tax filing software programs that are kind of similar to TurboTax. The names sound a little bit maybe sketchy, but they are not sketchy. They are, one, for example, is created by the United Way, and that is myfreetaxes.com.
I'll put that in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you. Another one that works well and is a trusted software program to use is called freetaxusa.com. A lot of people use that. You can also, so those are online programs, kind of do-it-yourself programs to file your taxes.
Okay, thank you.
There's also something called Free Direct File that the IRS is piloting this year in 8 states. And that's a way to file through an IRS portal directly with the IRS. And again, that's a new program that they're just piloting in those states. And if you have those handy, we could put those in the chat too, so people know ones they might have available to them. And then the IRS also has their own program called Free File, which is, again, another kind of screen-by-screen way to file your taxes for free. Some people might need more hands-on help and want in-person help filing their taxes, and there are some great resources for that. There are volunteer income tax assistance sites, or VITA sites, nationwide, and there are also tax aid, AARP tax aid free filing sites. Those places are IRS-trained volunteers who are completely vetted and trusted, and they can help people who meet an income. You have to be below a certain income. They can help people file their taxes for free. They do it for you, basically. And their accuracy rate is very high. It's actually higher than paid preparers. And you can go online and you can Google AARP tax aid, or you can Google VITA site, VITA, for your state, and see different networks of VITA sites where you can get an appointment or sometimes walk in. In Colorado, you can see a map of all of these at getaheadcolorado.org. Okay,
I'll put that in the chat as well. Yeah, that's, I mean, these are all great resources, but I know that tax filing, like I said in the beginning, it can be intimidating. You don't know where to go or where to start. And I think, at least for me, one of the first things I think of is TurboTax, but it's good to know that there's so many resources out there. And like you just mentioned, somebody that can actually work directly with you and answer those questions. All right. Okay, I have all of those links in the chat there. So if you're watching and want to save those resources, they're also in the description of this video as well. So you can access them later if you're not watching live, or if you want to watch the replay. And then, Isabel, can you talk to us about the correlation between tax credit increases and child welfare and well-being?
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's why early childhood, human services, public health, which is the field I come from, and increasingly even healthcare providers are really interested in getting the word out about filing taxes and free tax filing. It's because poverty is a root cause of poor mental and physical health outcomes. And research shows us that tax credits actually reduce poverty and improve health and educational outcomes. And specifically, there's research that shows that tax credits reduce infant mortality, are associated with fewer adverse childhood events, and improved educational and health outcomes across the life course and even across generations. So there's more and more focus now on what we call the social determinants of health, or just the conditions that we all live in that really affect our health, like where we live and how much money we make. And so that's why supporting the financial well-being of families through things like tax credits can really make a big difference.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here with us today and all that you do outside of this as well, but for this especially. So I know that you have shared a lot of tips and resources, and I have mentioned a couple times now that tax filing can be intimidating, but do you have any other advice for someone who might be intimidated, doesn't know where to start, is hard for them to talk about maybe?
Yes, absolutely. If your tax situation is really straightforward, you might be able to file online, and you can definitely learn more about what the first steps are just at the IRS. There's the free file information is there. In Colorado, you can go to getaheadcolorado.org. Other states have their own programs that promote free tax filing and try to just give very clear, simple information about how to do it. And there are some common concerns that people have about filing taxes, or a little bit of worry about engaging with the IRS or the Department of Revenue in their state, because it can feel a little intimidating. There can be trust issues. But one thing people sometimes worry about is that if they receive a big tax refund, it might affect their other benefits like SNAP, TANF, Medicaid. But tax refunds are not counted as taxable income and do not affect benefits like that. They're not counted as income. Some people feel, oh, I must need to have a job or have a pretty high income to file taxes. I'm not required to file because I don't make enough money to owe tax. Really, only minimal earnings are needed to claim many credits, and you can file taxes. And you may have a special situation, though. It's really individual, so we don't want to give specific tax advice, but it can often be a real benefit to file taxes. And people can use an ITIN to file. So a lot of people sometimes miss out. They don't realize that they're eligible for some of these credits. And I'll just say that millions of dollars are actually left on the table in unclaimed credits. And in Colorado, about 28% of those eligible don't file for their earned income tax credit. They just miss out. Some of the reasons people don't file is they might have had their first baby in 2023 and not really be aware of the child tax credit. Also, grandparent caregivers or caregivers who have a child living with them for 6 months or more in a year may be eligible for the child tax credit and not realize it. And then kind of as a group, people who miss out or don't file tend to be a higher proportion of immigrant or refugee or newcomer neighbors, people who speak a language other than English, and rural families also tend to file at a lower rate. So this is just something for those of us who work directly with families or support people with connecting to resources might want to have in the back of their minds as they kind of think about reaching out to families about tax. My most important message would probably be that you don't have to be an expert just to tell your friends and neighbors about these benefits and encourage them to get more information, or to mention taxes along with the benefits referral you might be doing in your day-to-day work. You just can say, I'm not an expert, but you might consider filing and getting more information. Yeah. You can also call 211 in many states. In Colorado, 211 is a resource hub, a place where operators can answer the phone in various languages and give information about all kinds of resources like SNAP, housing subsidies, and tax information. And many states have a 211 resource system that people can call. So if your state has that, that can be a great place to start.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely. I mean, 28% not claiming those benefits just in Colorado. That's good to get the word out about this. And like you said, if you're not an expert, just share the resources. We've got lots of links here in the chat and the description. If anybody has follow-up questions, is it okay for them to reach out to you?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Happy to answer.
I'll put your email in the chat as well. Let's see here. Okay. And then, yeah, thank you. Do you have any final thoughts to leave us with today? I know that was a lot, but this was good. This is a really good topic. And especially, like you said, it's a great time of year to start thinking about this and get ahead.
No, just happy tax season, everybody. And hope everybody gets a big refund this year.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you to everybody who watched live today, or if you're watching the replay, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.